What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben, and welcome back to The Bench. We're here with a brand new season. This is season number 9, episode 1, and we are going to be starting something very special. This is going to be my introduction into the Martin Lamont D-Day Buddy Build. It's for the 75th anniversary of D-Day, and the D stands for diorama. So that's going to be very interesting to see what I can do. We have to pick a kit, build something around it, make a little diorama scene, and well, fingers crossed, it goes over well. So I've decided to go ahead and stick with what I know, and I know airplanes. So we're going to go ahead and try to build a diorama around this. Now this is a 1/48 scale Focke-Wulf 190 A8. It's supposed to be in the colors of Joseph Priller, the famous ace who made a single pass on Sword Beach the day of the D-Day landings, June 6, 1944. This is an Accurate Miniatures kit. I've never built an Accurate Miniatures kit, but I've heard really good things. And also, this is supposed to be, as far as my understanding goes, this is an actual reboxing of the Edward Focke-Wulf kits, and those are supposed to be just the best on the market. So I have high hope that this is going to be a really fun build, and we're going to be able to do something really cool with this particular subject. Now, let's go ahead and dive into the box, show you a couple little things here about it, and we'll talk a little bit about my plan for the actual diorama. So let's open this up and check it out. Now, like I mentioned before, I've never actually built Accurate Miniature kits before, but I like what I see so far. We are greeted with this really awesome looking side profile of Black 13. That's Priller's aircraft. So that's kind of cool. Might want to frame that one of these days. We also have our clear parts nicely protected underneath that side profile. We have 4 clear canopies. Interesting. We also have a couple different windscreens. So that's kind of neat. Must be for different variants of the A8. So that's kind of nice. And of course, we have our instructions. I haven't looked at one of these yet, but we'll go ahead and give a look at that. And we have our decal sheet. Big, beautiful decal sheet. Lots of very glossy, high-quality markings. Very, very cool. We have, of course, Black 13 with Priller's personal markings. That's kind of neat, too. Let's go ahead and put that away, though. We'll check out the instruction manual. So the manual itself is really thick. There's a lot of information contained within this manual. On the title page, we've got the title of the kit, the number of the kit. We've got a nice side profile. Flipping it open, we have, of course, a little history about the aircraft, about Priller, and little bits and odds and ends right up here. I'll have to read that more carefully a little bit later. Moving down here, we, of course, start at the cockpit. Most of the aircraft I've ever built, we start in the cockpit, so this is right along that same line. We have all the parts and pieces called out. Kind of cool, though, on the left-hand side and the right-hand side, we have specific call-outs. We have our entire list of paint, as well as we have an order of operations. So that's kind of interesting. Since this is my first time building an Accurate Miniatures kit, that would be very, very helpful. Flipping it over, we of course continue with the same process, all the parts and pieces called out, all the paint called out, and then an order of operations on how to get everything assembled. So very, very cool. Now I'm not going to run through every single page of the instruction manual because there is a ton of information within this manual, and you'll see it all as I go along through the build. So let's go ahead and just skip to the end and check out the color schemes. That should be kind of fun. For the color profiles, we have several we can choose from. Of course, we are going to be building Black 13, this very top one, because we want to go ahead and focus it around the actual operation of D-Day. But we do have some very cool looking color schemes on top of this. This is a very standard German splinter camo. I'm not really too concerned about that. Moving on, though, we have a couple other paint schemes for different versions, different variations. Very nice. Of course, I'm sticking with Black 13. And then the last page, we have all of our stencil details, and there you have it. That's pretty much the meat and potatoes of the instruction manual. We'll see more as we go ahead and go through the build, but that should do for right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the plastic, see how that turned out. So the plastic parts themselves look really, really nice. Very smooth, very well detailed. This comes with a full engine as well as gun bays and a lot of extra detail that I don't really know if I'm going to even put into the model because of my diorama theme. Might not be able to actually use a lot of these parts, but that's okay. At least I have them for my spares box. But let's go ahead and get a closer look at some of the plastic. We're going to open up this bag right here. Let's just pull out the bottom part of the wing. All right, let's give it a look here. Very, very nice, very smooth, very finely recessed panel lines. Yeah, this is a really nice looking kit. All right, I'm excited about this one. This is going to be fun. And I've never really built a German aircraft from World War II on my channel, so this is going to be another level of fun too. Going to be a lot of firsts with this build. Give me a little close-up here. You can see the detail that they put into this. For example, here are the cowling machine guns. Very well detailed. You've got all the nice little levers and actuators. Very, very nice. Moving down a little bit below that, we have our side consoles and our different instrument panels. We also have our front console, and that is honestly very, very nice looking. Very simple, but also very cool looking. We have another console right below that. Also got the gauge clusters all nicely molded in there. Very, very cool. But like I mentioned before, this is a diorama build, so the attention is not going to all be on the aircraft. We have to go ahead and include something to tell a story because, well, that's what dioramas are. They're 3D pictures that tell a story. So my story is going to be incorporating some figures. Now, I'm not a figure painter, but I went online and I found these. Now, these are a set of 3 figures by Verlinden. They're all resin, and it's the pilot with 2 crewmen for the German Luftwaffe. Now, I'm not exactly sure how to paint these guys because I've never really done figure painting, but I'm really happy to go ahead and find these because I guess Verlinden makes beautiful, beautiful resin molds. I've never actually seen them myself, but everyone I've talked to just loves Verlinden, so hopefully these work perfectly. Let's go ahead and open up the poly bag here and check out the level of detail that we have for these particular parts. So we have first here the torso and the legs, it looks like for the pilot. Yeah, the level of detail here is actually very impressive. Let me zoom in for you here. So as you can see here, all the folds, all the buckles, all the pouches, collar, even the back harnesses that he's got, everything on this pilot looks absolutely beautiful. You can look at the resin faces as well, beautifully molded, a lot of expression in those faces. So that's going to be interesting to paint. And I'm no figure painter, so this is going to be hugely out of my comfort zone, but we're going to try it out. Here are the torsos for the ground crewmen. Different uniforms. We'll do more research on that when we get to it, but beautifully molded nonetheless. As you can see, the Luftwaffe number 467. This is Verlinden. It's 1/48 scale. I'm really excited to check these out. Should be fun. So let's talk about references. Now, I've got tons of books on the Focke-Wulf, but I'm actually very interested in using this book in particular. This is the Squadron Signal Publications. This is Focke-Wulf FW190 in action, and this has a ton of really awesome pictures, color profiles. It's got a lot of detailed shots of different parts and pieces of the Focke-Wulf. Goes through all the variations, of course. Real general, real quick information. So this should be a lot of fun to just use as easy reading. But more importantly, the reason I've chosen this book is because right here we can see an entire spread on Priller himself. There's the man in the cockpit of his aircraft. He's climbing down on the wing. He's here with the staff car. And this one here is what I'm actually interested in trying to model. This is kind of my inspiration. Of course, not the staff car, but just the overall layout of the background on the photo. Let me go ahead and give you a closer look here. So as you can see on the close-up picture here, we have Priller getting out of his staff car, which I guess was a very brightly colored red staff car. Pretty cool. In the back we have Black 13 with a couple of workers here on the wings working on something. As you can see, the aircraft is parked on a concrete runway, a little bit of grass in the background, and in the very background we have a hangar. So this is kind of my inspiration for my diorama. I want to go ahead and paint up Priller using, of course, the Verlinden set, have him be a stand-in because he's not called out as Joseph Priller, but use him, have the ground crewman be in the background maybe, or maybe talking to him as he's exiting the aircraft. So that's kind of my plan. But it's honestly a great little book. Very cool, very fun reading. I've had it since I was a kid. It's gotten a lot of use. So we're definitely going to be using that, and we're going to try to model Priller after he's returned from his initial strike on Sword Beach. That's my plan. So using that, we're going to go ahead and jump on the Accurate Miniatures Focke-Wulf with the Verlinden 3-figure set. This is going to be a lot of fun, guys. I was a little worried about jumping in on this one because I'm not a diorama builder. I don't paint or build figures. This is a lot of interesting information here that I'm not familiar with. So we're really going to give it our best and just see if we can't get this all finished up. The D-Day Buddy build ends on May 31st. So we have a lot to do and just a couple months to get there. Let's go ahead and call it quits for today. So until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you back here on next week's episode of the D-Day Buddy build. Until then, go out, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool, and we'll see you back here next week for more exciting adventures in model building. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you soon.